Hello, welcome to the Schneider Family Grand Garden at Green Bay Botanical Garden. And as you can see, this area includes an outdoor amphitheater and an overlook arbor. And as I kind of turn around behind me here, you can see we also have our American Conifer Society reference garden, the Arndt Conifer Garden, and the Woodland Garden through that arbor, and a whole bunch of other gardens here at Green Bay Botanical Garden. But I really want to show you all the plantings here at the Schneider Family Grand Garden. This is one of, I think, the most amazing gardens, one of our newest gardens. It has over 10,000 perennials, and those perennials are either native to Wisconsin, cultivars of native plants, which is kind of like a selection of a native plant, or a plant that we noticed a lot of pollinators and insects on. So the idea behind this whole garden here is to create a garden that is a huge habitat. So we also planted 1,000 trees and shrubs, and those 1,000 trees and shrubs were the same thing, natives, nativars, or plants we saw a lot of insects using for food. So it's a really great garden. It's kind of like this whole concept of Doug Tallamy of bringing nature home and nature's best hope, which is all of us incorporating native plants into our landscape to increase the amount of food, and to increase the biodiversity, and to make our landscapes more sustainable. So you can see here we have a lot of grasses too. So there's rudbeckias back here, there's agastache, which is lavender hyssop back here, which the goldfinches love and bumblebees love. And all these plants kind of take the sun's energy, and then insects eat it and it goes up the food chain. So a lot of our ornamental plants actually aren't used, unfortunately, by insects, which means that the sun's energy just stops there. But if we incorporate these native plants, it allows the whole food chain and food web to have more energy and grow and be bigger and be more biodiverse. So that's a great thing. The other awesome thing about the native plants is once they're established, they don't really need any water, they don't need any fertilizer, they don't need any pesticide or insecticide, because of course you want to keep the insects there. So that's another great reason to make these native plants a part of your garden. So there's also the plants, that aren't native, like this Allium millennium here, which isn't native, but it's already past its prime, but it does have a lot of pollinators that use it. And the other kind of cool thing about this garden that you can think about is all these grasses. Like our prairies are actually mostly grass. So the grass adds a whole different layer of texture and movement to your garden. And then as the fall comes around, they sometimes have some different colors, and the movement is what I really like in the kind of the fall months, and also the contrast of that color with the blue skies that we have here. And the autumn fall colors of the trees and things, obviously. But a couple other plants here. This is Nepeta, Montrose white Nepeta. And this plant here isn't native, but it does attract a ton of bumblebees and other bees and pollinators too. And the other thing to think about when you're gardening, with natives or other perennials in general, is thinking about staging your plants so that you have spring, summer, and fall interest, because you want to have those food sources for those different insects and pollinators all season long. We also have, because we love bulbs here at Green Bay Botanical Garden, we have 10,000 at least of white miniature daffodils, but then 30,000 grape hyacinth in here. And I'm thinking the numbers are probably even more than that. They're pretty huge, and we've been adding to it all over the years so that we have all these bulbs for a spring interest amongst the spring blooming perennials. So what you see sometimes are areas where already the spring bloomers have gone, and then you see some late summer bloomers, and then there's going to be things blooming here in the fall, so that we have that staggered food for all of our different insect friends out here at the Botanical Garden. And as I go back, you can kind of see this huge outdoor bowl for our amphitheater. So it's a great place for people to come, to relax outside, to learn about native plants, and then also enjoy a concert or other event here at the Botanical Garden. And one last thing I want to talk about the native plants is that they're very useful for stormwater. So when we created this garden here, we thought about where all this new impervious area is going to go to. So we have some stormwater infiltration basins here in the Grand Garden. So one of them is planted with a native seed mix that we're coming across to. But then we also have one that has some really amazing plants planted into a sandy filter fabric area. So think about how those native plants can also be used for stormwater management. So again, Green Bay Botanical Garden has a lot of really cool ideas that you can incorporate into your own landscape. And the Schneider Family Grand Garden is a really great example of how you can bring native plants into your home garden. So come out here to the Botanical Garden and visit us. We would love to have you and show you what we're doing with native plants here.